Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. Right in my hands is Ancient Enemies, number 4 from Frank Miller Presents. It is written by Dan Didio, art by Danilo Beyruth, colors by Hi-Fi, lettering by Carlos M. Mangual, and there is a backup by Didio and Beyruth on art, and Alex Sinclair on color, with lettering by Carlos M. Mangual. Alright, so Ancient Enemies. I personally think Ancient Enemies is the strongest of the releases overall from Frank Miller Presents. It's a rather intriguing series that kind of has two storylines going on that, you know, are slightly coming together. So there is this bigger story of this like battle between two alien races, the Zolans and the Zeons. The whole concept was they were coming to Earth to go like do battle, and it was just going to be these two warriors fighting it out, and whoever won, like one for his people, and the other competing forces get destroyed, like literally destroyed. That's what the backup story is all about, is that history there. So they crash into Earth and destroy a large part of the United States, and I kind of get a sense maybe some of the world. I don't know exactly the full extent, but definitely the East Coast in the U.S. Millions died, and from that ashes, things got rebuilt. And the things that got rebuilt is there's like two cities. One is the one the government focused on, and it's like all futuristic, and it's got superheroes and tons of technology. And then there's the other one across the river from it that is kind of like worn down, run down. The workers from there are the ones that built the futuristic one, but they really didn't get taken care of. So it's this interesting story of haves and have-nots, of competing visions of the future. You've got these two alien races that are kind of sort of falling on each side of these cities, and a new superhero group that, of course, is like holding up the evil, I would say not really evil, but more corrupt status quo. And then on the other side is this this legacy hero who is trying to use her wealth to actually help the people, and her company to help the people. So there's some really interesting concepts overall for this series. And this issue it gives a lot more depth, and I will say dances around the concept a lot. The thing for me is I would love if the series just focused on these two cities competing. Like, I think that is an entire story by itself. Then you have these two alien races who are still warring, and that's a story by itself. So the two, like, coming together is good. I just don't necessarily think the series overall has done either of them justice, because it's kind of splitting its time between the two. However, the two stories are finally like really gelling, and I think it's coming together nicely. The thing I really actually like about what Didio is doing is he hasn't seemed to have forgotten this underlying have-nots, two societies concept of it all. And it really is kind of like I don't want to say social justice, but there really is a question of government leadership and their vision and focus that is part of the story. And the backup story, I think comes very, very clear, especially with the two warriors that are sent to battle out. What happens there, I'm not going to spoil, but I think it gets really interesting, especially with the juxtaposed with the superhero group, who is clearly just stooges for the government, or like the powers that be. Not even the government, like they're just stooges for the powers that be. And I think overall, like it's got some really, really solid concepts behind it. I'd love for it to explore that more. I'm not 100% sure how to do that completely without maybe jettisoning one of the stories to really just focus on one. But overall, like, I think there's a lot more depth to the series than probably a lot of people give it credit for. And overall, like, I think I like the series a lot because of that. I don't think I'm reading much into it. Like, it's very clearly, I think this is what part of the story is about, and this the overall kind of driving concept underneath it all. And I think it's being pulled off quite well. And as I said, coming together really, really solid. The art is as usual, pretty cool. I'm liking it more and more as the issues go on. There's something about it that I think's really working. There's some cool panels, like page layouts in the comic. And I do like the character designs, and I like kind of the personalities and some of the stuff. Some of the visuals I think are really cool, especially when this character like really kind of starts figuring out his past and what's happening with him. His reaction I think is pretty interesting and I'll say neat. And then kind of flashbacks as far as that character's kind of origin. I think is done in an interesting way, panel wise, and just overall, like it's a pretty solid issue visually as well. It's a good series. Like I actually really dig it. I like how every other issue, every other month, it's kind of focusing on specific characters, and then it kind of gets back to the main story. It's an interesting way to kind of flesh out the world without like really making things jarring. So yeah, it's a pretty cool comic. I again think it's the strongest thing out of Frank Miller Presents, and I overall want to see more of this world. Like I really think there's some cool concepts here that could lead to a really interesting superhero world, and deliver something that's a little bit different than everything else out there. So if you haven't, check it out. And if you've been reading the series, I think you're going to like the issue. It's out in comic shops now. You can go get it. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. It'll tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We have some links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage by doing that. You'll support our site, so thank you for that. And speaking of support, just watching our videos support us, so thank you as well. If you are interested in comics, you can check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, all Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.